So I know that you entered into this before and talked about coming to America. Um, Tell me about what made you, not America, but Canada. What made you decide that you wanted to come back to Canada? What were you what was going through your head?
I tell you, I went to Kingston Tech. I had a few jobs. My first job was Water Commission as a filtration
Ah,
plant operator.
yes,
From Water Commission, I went to UWI and I worked as a chemistry lab tech. From UWI, I went to Alcan and as an operator down at Williamsfield,
yes,
Alcan.
yes.
But putting aside the bauxite, all the other jobs were peanuts.
Okay, okay.
And in those days, people are getting scholarships to come abroad. And I find mostly teachers, people in the teaching profession, were getting scholarships to come abroad, to go to United States and to Puerto Rico and study. So I figured I need to come abroad. I can't afford to come, so I have to get a scholarship to come. And I left the bauxite industry, making £12 a week, good money, and start teaching woodwork at elementary school in Kingston. For half
Half that
that,
money.
I become a manual training teacher. You see, woodwork teacher, teach woodwork, because I have the skill I learned it at Kingston Tech. So I know this manager, school manager, and I went to him and he gave me the job at Trenchtown. So I started out at Trenchtown as a woodworking teacher with the hope of getting one of those scholarships to come abroad. And that was what happened.
Oh,
Within 2 years after entering the teaching profession, teaching woodwork, I got a scholarship to come to Canada. It's the Canadian Industrial Aids to Jamaica, CEDA, for 2 years. I got one, 1963, to come to Canada.
okay, okay.
And I figured that was the only way I was going to be hopping around Jamaica with a degree like all the others, because I couldn't send myself.
Right.
And the only way to get there is to have somebody send me. And the easiest way I saw was to get into the teaching and get one of these teaching scholarship to come here. And that was what happened.
So we have a
2 years after teaching, I got into teaching. I got the scholarship to come here on a teacher scholarship. I spent 2 years. I was bonded to go back and work for 4 years there. I went back, I worked for 8 months, 1 school year. And I get permission from the ministry to come back to finish my degree.
So when you had said to me you have to get the Canadian government say you have to get permission, it's because you were bonded. Why you couldn't just leave?
Right,
Oh.
exactly. Because when I wanted to stay here and not to go back to Jamaica,
Yes.
and when I approached the immigration here, they said, I am a student, but not a regular student. I'm a student sent by the government in Jamaica.
Right.
And so they have to
You have to
honor
respect that. Yes.
the government's desire that I go back to Jamaica. Even though I studied in Canada, I have some Canadian education, and they need people at the time too, because I did the teaching diploma at University of Toronto, which is now ISE, Ansteer Institute of Studies and Education. I got in there and I did my teaching diploma from there. I figured I have to go back, but if the government will allow me to come back out to Jamaica, they have no objection in
Okay.
accepting me back in Canada as
Okay.
as an immigrant.
Right.
So I went back to Jamaica, and that's what I did.
Okay.
I get a scholarship. No, I tell them that my scholarship was not enough for me to get a degree,
Okay, so
and I want to finish it on my own. So I applied for a leave of absence without pay.
okay. And so I noted you said teachers were leaving. So teachers were leaving the country at that time also.
You mean leaving Jamaica?
Leaving Jamaica.
Jamaica.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, teachers were leaving, and they were getting teachers from Canada and England into Jamaica during that.
Oh, so there
during
was
that.
I see.
So when I came here, when myself and another gentleman, Smalling, his name, I don't even know what happened to him today, if he's dead or he's alive. But we came here, we went to Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, and there were two people from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan who they sent to Jamaica. Two teachers from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, they sent to Jamaica, like a sort of exchange.
Exchange.
program.
Yes.
You know, Jamaica sent them two students, two teachers,
and they sent two back to
and
Jamaica.
they sent two back to Jamaica. So like a teacher exchange.
Okay,
program.
I got you. And then you came here. When you came here, this organization, the JCA, was already in existence?
Yes, already in existence.
How many Jamaicans were here? About approximately how many Jamaicans were in Canada, in this region, GTA area, at the time when you came here?
I came here at a time when women used to leave Jamaica and come here by the hundreds every year.
Why?
There was a program, a domestic program where women could come to, and you even have qualified people who left Jamaica and get into it. It was like the foreign workers program for men. It was like a domestic program for women.
Yes.
Run by the Department of Labor in Kingston, Jamaica, recruit women to send to Canada to come and work in the
homes.
rich people homes.
I see.
So some of your well-to-do women in Canada right now, for example, Jean Augustine, who was once Minister of whatever, citizenship. Jean came to Canada as a domestic worker.
Oh.
Only that she was a teacher in Grenada.
Okay.
So when she finished her 1 year, and there were nurses who came that way too.
Okay.
And because they were nurses, when they finished their 1 year, they got into the system easily.
Okay, I see.
So when I came to Toronto, when I came to Canada, I was out in Moose Jaw, like I said, for the first 8 months. Then I come into Toronto. When I moved into Toronto, there's a lot of women. There was a club, we used to call it the West Indies Federation Club. And on weekends, you could go there, and to every one man, you could see 24 women. Oh yeah, it used to be called the WIF Club, the West Indies Federation Club.
Yes.
And some old ladies, they rename it the Wife Club. many Jamaicans get their wives
right there.
Right there. WIF Club, run by a man named Harry Gary,
Yes.
who's now dead.
Yes.
He was a good friend of mine. And he was the one who put me onto the association people when I come in here. So that's a long story.
Yes.
When I come into Toronto, the same day I got into Toronto from Moose Jaw, I was put in jail.
In jail?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
I came off the train 2 o'clock one evening. I'm coming all the way from Western Canada. I came into, that's 1964 now. I come into Toronto, and it was July. I came off the train down at Union Station, and I got a taxi to right where they have the present police headquarters. It used to be the YMCA headquarters, the
Yes.
YMCA building. It's now a couple blocks above the police headquarters, and I checked in at the YMCA. And when I checked in at the YMCA, about 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, I decided I'd go to take a walk to find the Whiff Club, because I heard of this Whiff Club and it wasn't too far. So I decided the man at the desk direct me how to go along College Street, because it was College and Bay, and all I need to do is to go about 4 blocks west to College and Spadina to find the Whiff Club.
Yes.
And I get directed, and I start walking. And when I got to Spadina College, there was another club there they call, I forget the name of this, it was a white club, and it has a big light, silver dollar, and it has a big emblem, the light going around making a dollar.
Yes.
And I stopped, I did a little electronics out in the course in West, and I was intrigued with this circular light.
Yes.
Now, electronics at work, and I'm trying to look at it and figure out in my mind how it's working.
Yes.
And while I'm there looking at it, I saw a motorbike man ride up beside me, put his foot on the sidewalk and stopped. And then he said, "Good evening, sir." And the first thing that comes to my mind is that the first friend I'm going to make in Toronto is a
The
policeman.
police
And when he said, "Good evening, sir," he said, "You're under arrest." So I thought he was joking. And I laughed and, turned around to have good conversation with him now. And that was only when I realized that he was serious.
Oh.
He's now getting off the bike, and he got up and he says, "Turn around." And by the time he did that, I heard sirens from all over the place, from every angle.
Whoa.
And about 6 police cruisers turn up right there. And they handcuff me. And they take me to a station. Until now, I don't know which of the stations. Well, I suspected it's a station closest to where this Whiff Club was.
Right.
And I went there the night. And I was there. I'm still laughing. When you haven't
Yes.
done anything.
Yes.
And I used to just laugh, and I'm there smiling, and until I realized this is seriousness. I'm in a jail. So I started telling this police sergeant, the man at the desk, that I'm a foreign student. I come into this city just 2 o'clock this evening. I'm at the YMCA. That's where I'm staying for tonight and for the next few nights. And if you don't believe me, better come with me or send somebody with me there. And then when I realized the seriousness, the policeman, after they drove me there, they went upstairs, come downstairs with something and read from it. Fit the description of a wanted Negro man for assault and robbery at the same intersection at Spadina College a week before.
Whoa.
A week before, I fit the description of a wanted Negro man for assault and robbery. And that was when I realized that this is not a dream and this is not a joke. This is a serious setup. And I remembered I used to listen to a radio, a Chum radio station, and he used to have a program, a guy named, Larry Salway, Speak Your Mind.
Yes.
So I said, don't I get a call? He said, who you want to call? I said, never mind, I just need to make a call. And the sergeant man pushed the phone in front of me and said, here, make you one call. And I remember the radio station number by heart, and I just dialed it. It dialed. And I got Larry, and I got a receptionist, and I started asking for Larry Salway. And then they started telling me that Larry Salway is not here now. He does a program in the morning, it's in the day, and does a program, and he comes in only at that time to do the program. That's why I start telling them that I have a story for him. I'm in jail, and the guy hear me talking, and he turned to me and said, I thought you were calling in relatives. I said, no, I have no relative here, sir. I calling Larry Solway. I want to tell him my story. I said, it's a good story for the media. Don't you think so? And it's only after that this man, I think, brought himself around to figure that this young man got to be telling some sort of a true story. And he called the policeman and said, okay, take him back. Take him to the Y and see what him up there. Took me to the Y. Another one, two of them went with me. And they marched me through the same YMCA that I booked in about 3 o'clock the evening. They marched me past the front desk upstairs to my room. They didn't even allow me to show them what I want to show them. I pick up my passport, everything I left there because I didn't think I need to travel with my passport and things like that to go to a club. And they pick up everything and two of them walk back downstairs with me, back into the car. And it's when they get to the station, that's when they open everything and look at it. Then they turn around and said,
It's a mistake.
okay, drop him back home. I said, I don't want to go home. I have no home here. I said, I want to be put back right where I was picked up. And the guy started telling me, you know, I saw you have a little Mickey at your hotel room there. Why don't we go back, have a drink, and call it a day? You know, it's a mistake. We made a mistake, blah, blah, blah. And the day after that, I found the club. Well, the same night after that, they put me back at the corner of Spadina and College. The same night. And then I walked from there to Brunswick and College where the club was. I found the club. And I walked in the club, dejected, sat at the counter, ordered a whiskey. And the old man behind the counter, Mr. Geary, said, young fella, what's wrong? And I started telling him the story, and he said, you can't take that lying down, man. These people are profiling this and that and the other. He said there was an organization started last year. A young man named Roy Williams is the president.
Oh my God.
I'm going to give you their number. Call them. You can't take this lying down. And you know something? I called Roy Williams. I think it was a Wednesday. And I called Roy Williams, and Roy Williams said, yes, you know, as a matter of fact, we're having a meeting on Saturday. And the meeting was at the same corner, Spadina and College, over the Jewish Center there.
Wow.
Why not turn up and we take your story? And I turned up the Sunday, and I gave Roy the story. He wrote a letter, sent a copy to the Chief of Police of Toronto, the Premier of Ontario, and the Prime Minister of Canada. And I got a response, after many months, I got a response from all of them, all three sources. Well, from that day and from that week onward, I become a friend of the police. I was invited down to be a part of their consultative committee. And that's how I get involved with JCA and the Toronto Police Force as a consultant. I spent many years there. I still have a badge at my house.
What?
I'm a consultant. I work with the Toronto Police Force. There was a time here in Toronto where anywhere there is a bad incident with black people, before the police go there, they find me, come to my house, pick me up to go with them.
Oh.
McCormack was the chief of police at the time when that happened. and I become a friend of McCormack, where he would send a police sergeant to come pick me up anywhere I am, at home or from work, just to come to his office and sit down and talk, and they start setting up these consultative committees, and they asked me to be a member, and I chaired that committee for a couple of years until a half-white man becomes a half-white Jamaican becomes the chief of police, slowly. And it wasn't a pleasant existence anymore, so I figured I'll just back out and let somebody else do it.
That's
But I have a life story.
Oh my.
That is, it will take you a year to listen to my stories.
This is really great though.
Oh, yeah.
This is absolutely great. So